On the frontiers of civilization, people live in small villages. But outside the safety of large cities, these villages are beset with dangerous creatures. Protecting these villagers are rangers. Rangers can hunt prey, which gives them advantages against a single opponent. They'll also get a hunter's edge if they want to specialize in making multiple attacks, precise attacks, or outwitting the monster. A first-level ranger also gets a class feat. They can choose from an animal companion, crossbow ace, hunted shot, monster hunter, or twin takedown. Sometimes when the rangers are surveying the land, they may come across people who live even deeper in the wilderness than they do. These people are called Druids. Druids have their own language that they only speak amongst themselves, and must follow specific rules to keep them away from society. But by following these edicts, Druids gain natural powers. They can be diplomatic with creatures. They gain primal prepared spellcasting, and they gain special powers depending on the druidic order that they choose. An animal companion, a leshy familiar, extra storm spells, or the ability to transform into an animal. Their order gives them a feat, an extra anathema, a skill, and an order spell, a type of focus spell. They also get shield block. Once you begin to travel to some of the larger towns, you'll start to see more civilized warriors, militias and armies, soldiers. Some of these soldiers start to stick out. Fighters, expert in martial weapons, with the attack of opportunity reaction, which gives them a free attack if their opponent tries to do almost anything except face them and fight. They also get shield block and a class feat. It could be double slice, exacting strike, point blank shot, power attack, reactive shield, snagging strike, or sudden charge. But there's a special kind of warrior that uses a different strategy in battle. Sometimes called berserkers, barbarians enlist the power of their own rage in order to fight opponents. A barbarian has an instinct, which gives them an anathema and an extra ability, like partially turning into an animal, using elemental attacks, an extra feat, using massive giant weapons, or having ghostly attacks. A barbarian can also choose a class feat, including acute vision, moment of clarity, raging intimidation, rage thrower, or sudden charge. Barbarians give in to their emotions. Other warriors seek to master them, like the monk. The monk has the powerful fist ability, making their fists and kicks do more damage. They also get flurry of blows, letting them attack multiple times with a single action. Finally, the monk gets a class feat. They can choose between crane stance, dragon stance, mountain stance, tiger stance, wolf stance, key rush, which gives them focus spells, key strike, or monastic weaponry. But not all characters get their powers through training. Some are born with them, such as the sorcerer. Sorcerers get spontaneous spellcasting, and they choose a bloodline. The bloodline represents where their powers come from, some ancient ancestor with a supernatural origin. Aberrant horrors, angelic beings, demons, devils, dragons, elementals, fairies, hags, ancient wizards, or the undead. Their bloodline will determine their spellcasting tradition, extra skills, extra spells, focus spells called bloodline spells, and extra effects that happen when they use their bloodline spells called blood magic. Some warriors seek to serve a certain cause, the knights and cavaliers of the world called champions. Champions' powers change depending on their alignment, which in the core rulebook they can choose between 3, including a deity to serve. Lawful good champions become paladins, neutral good become redeemers, and chaotic good champions become liberators. The deity and cause of a champion gives them a certain code they have to follow, a special reaction they can use in combat. Focus spells called devotion spells, and depending on their deity, a specialization in a specific weapon. Champions also get shield block and a class feat, which they can choose between ranged reprisal, unimpeded step, weight of guilt, and deity's domain, some of which have alignment restrictions. Many champions have long histories of fighting holy battles. Leaders of these battles are called war priests. These war priests have an alternative called cloistered clerics. Both of these types of characters are called clerics, and depending on their doctrine, war priest or cloistered, they either get a type of focus spells or more proficiency with armor and weapons. But a cleric's true powers come from their divine prepared spellcasting, which changes depending on which deity they serve. Their deity will also give them skills, divine font, extra spells, and an anathema, which may change depending on if they want to focus on civilization, evil devils, lust and trickery, getting drunk and being free, luck and travel, the rural lifestyle, battle and war, nature and the sea, honor and justice, bodily perfection, evil monsters, magic and knowledge, secret assassins, death, judgment and prophecy, evil destruction, aid and redemption, peace and art, forging and dwarves, undeath, or pain. Some characters embrace the city, such as rogues. Rogues can choose a racket if they want to be the tough ruffian, the fast-talking scoundrel or the dexterous thief, which gives them extra skills, abilities, and, if they so choose, a new key ability score. Rogues also get sneak attack, which gives them bonuses against flat-footed enemies, surprise attack, which makes it easier to make enemies flat-footed, a skill feat, and a class feat, which could be nimble dodge, trap finder, twin feint, or you're next. The scholars of esoteric knowledge and society are called bards. Bards wield the power of occult, spontaneous spellcasting, and focus spells called composition spells. A bard's performance can be inspired by their muse, a mysterious enigma, a maestro of performance, or the versatile polymath, which gives them an extra feat and an extra spell. Intellectuals who choose not to be spellcasters might be alchemists. Alchemists are experts at crafting alchemical weapons and tools. They can create their own reagents and use those reagents to create a certain number of alchemical items every day. They also get quick alchemy and a research field, which lets them choose a specialization if they want to throw bombs, heal people, or drink strange potions and turn into weird creatures. This gives them 2 extra formulas as well as an extra ability. An alchemist can also choose a class feat, which could be alchemical familiar, alchemical savant, far lobber, or quick bomber. Finally, the magical scholars gain their spellcasting through rigorous study and training are wizards, arcane prepared spellcasters, who have an arcane bond, giving them an item they can drain for extra spells, an arcane thesis, if they want to focus on having a familiar, metamagic, spell blending, or flexible spellcasting. A wizard can also specialize in a specific school of arcane magic, protective spells, summoning spells, remote viewing spells, enchantment spells, destructive power, false perceptions, life and death, transforming objects and materials, or alternatively be a jack of all trades and be a universalist, which gives them an extra spell and a focus spell called a school spell.